Hey, it's Matt Pinfield. It's KLOS New and Approved, and I'm here with Marc LaBelle of Dirty Honey. And their new album just came out on Friday. It's their self-titled debut. Marc, great to see you again, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
I'm good. You know, it's the last time I know we saw each other. So much stuff has happened between now and then, obviously, with the pandemic. But I saw a great show you guys did at the Moroccan Lounge, one of the first showcases. And that was before the single, When I'm Gone, went all the way to number one when you guys were unsigned. But you guys were killer that night, man. I love that show. And that's when I discovered you guys. And
That was a fun night. That was very early days for us too. So, you know, you were a early flag bearer for us, so to speak, and we appreciate it obviously. But yeah, that was one of the first shows we did in LA as this unit and with our management company and finally getting the push, that I'd been looking for a long time. So.
Well, I'm glad, that you guys ended up getting together and forming this four-piece. And I love the story that, you hearing the name Honey Drippers, that Robert Plant kind of swing rockabilly type doo-wop band that he had was part of the influence for the name itself. But I just got to say, the thing that was really cool about the band from the first time I saw you guys was the swagger, the true essence of what rock and roll really is. And I thought it was great.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, that's what we're going for and have been since day one. Just putting soul back into the rock and roll and having that live element be a huge part of it. And I think, I don't know what you think about today's current rock, style. It's just gotten a little stale, and we're trying to inject a little soul back into everything. So I think we're succeeding somewhat,
I think you are. What was the feeling like when you knew you were an unsigned band, but you had gotten all the way to number one with When I'm Gone on the rock charts?
Yeah, it wasn't for a lack of trying to get signed, but as we started going down, that path of meeting with record labels and taking meetings and stuff, it just became clearer and clearer that it didn't make any sense to sign with a label. And, Didia was the one who sort of spearheaded that. And, he just said to himself, I'd ran labels my whole life and now I'm in management. And why shouldn't we just do this ourselves? It doesn't make any sense to sign away your masters unless they're really offering you something good. And so we took a chance on ourselves, and, it's a credit to him and to Mark Orlick, our radio promotion guy, for getting it to where it needed to go. But it's also a statement about where rock and roll is and what people were sort of yearning for at the time, which was some good soulful, riff-based rock and roll. But yeah, we were out on the road at the time when it went number one, and I think everybody was really excited. And it's obviously a great accomplishment. But yeah, it was. We definitely had a couple extra shots of tequila that night, I can guarantee it.
That's good. Now, tell me about some of those early shows, playing with people, these artists that you admire. Slash with Myles Kennedy, and those Guns N' Roses show you did in Vegas. Talk to me about what that experience was like. Had you come into contact with those guys before? Was that the first time you actually got to meet some of the bandmates?
That night in particular, the Guns show was really cool because I got to meet Axl and the rest of that. The whole Guns band. It was also my birthday. It was just a special night all around. My family was there. But yeah, we'd gone out with Slash and Myles really early on before our EP even got released. And Myles and Slash in particular were really great supporters from day one. And they kind of took us under their wing, and that wound up, we wound up doing more shows with them later on, and obviously the Guns stuff. But I got to meet with them, hang with them a bunch, and Myles in particular he's such a good guy and such a supporter. And, he's kind of been a little bit of a mentor for me, just living and being around him and watching his style and how he carries himself. And just such a hard worker. I really admire his career, honestly. 'Cause it happened, somewhat late for him, but it's a testament to him not giving up. And I think that's a lesson everybody, can take, with them for the rest of their lives. It's just don't give up, and you're bound for success if you don't. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about Myles. It's crazy is he was first signed when he was 16
Yeah.
in the Mayfield Four. Believe it or not, the story is that part of my last name was from the name of the band was part of my last name because he had a dream of watching me introduce them on 120 Minutes or one of the shows. So that was it. He goes, but Pinfield 4 he thought was a little too close, to name it that. So the Mayflower was a bar that they could sneak into and drink illegally when they were like 16. So they combined the two names for their first band name. But yeah, what a great singer Myles is, and I'm glad he's been kind of taking you under his wing that way. I love the version of the Aerosmith song you guys did, Last Child.
Oh, thanks, man.
And those guys, they actually said that they loved it and endorsed it as well. Were you guys excited to hear that those guys gave you the stamp of approval?
Yeah, that was crazy. Definitely a shining moment in my artistic career, but it's hard to miss when you're working with Dave Cobb. He's obviously an amazing producer. But yeah, we went out to Nashville and did it with him, and we put our own little spin on it, but tried to stay true to the original. And yeah, when Tom Hamilton tweets about, liking your version of his song, it's a special day. But yeah, I've been a fan for Aerosmith, of Aerosmith my whole life, and that's where a lot of the stuff came from, and that's what inspired me, honestly, to take this journey is seeing Joe Perry and Steven Tyler outside of Pix 106 as a little kid, and just thought that's what I want to do with my life. So to pay homage to them later on is really special, and to hear that they like it is even better. That's the cherry on top.
I think it's fantastic. They were my heroes too when I was a young kid, because I've been around a while, and they were, I was, who didn't want to be Steven Tyler if you were a singer and if you were a guitar player? I mean, Joe was one of those legends, Joe or Keith Richards. There's so many. Jimmy Page.
And Steven is one of the ones who's still doing it at a super high level, in his 70s, and it's really remarkable. So have you seen the Vegas show?
I have not. I've actually run into and hung out with Steven a little bit before the pandemic, and I was planning on going to it. And then, of course, the pandemic took place. So many things were derailed.
It's amazing. So
I heard
get out there.
I heard it was great. So talk to me. You were pretty much, your flights were booked. You were going to go to Australia and go down there and record with Nick Didia, right? And work and finish the album. So tell me, give me a kind of the chain of events and then how things ended up happening.
Yeah. So we were actually on the Sunday night before everything sort of got locked down here in LA. We were prepping to shoot a music video for our song Heartbreaker. That Sunday night, they canceled every bar, club, restaurant, everything got shut down. So we couldn't shoot the music video. I think we were leaving on Thursday to go to Australia, and Wednesday night we were getting word that they were closing the borders. We might not be able to get back into America. It just everything. It was a really scary time, and we decided not to pull the trigger and not go. So we kind of went to Plan B. But what happened was we probably waited another 3 months to get into the studio after that, maybe more. And we were able to sort of go back to our catalog of riffs and song ideas and just write a lot more stuff and really dial in the stuff that we've been working on. Because I think if we went to Australia and recorded when we were supposed to, we probably only would have had 4 or 5 songs done. And I think we went into the studio with 10 and 8 made the cut. So, I think the record is definitely better for it, but we had a pretty good year lined up that summer and into the fall and into this year. So it's bittersweet, but I think the record is going to speak for itself.
Absolutely. I mean, and let's talk about the first single, which has been killing it on our countdown here, California Dreamin'. It's such a great track. And I've heard that you've said that it's really about kind of the other side, the city side of the Golden State. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, I think everybody comes out here with a dream, and whether or not you make it, it's kind of a toss of the dice, and more people don't make it. And I sort of wanted to shed a light on that. And I've got a ton of friends who've moved back to wherever it is they moved from, and they've got their tail between their legs, and they're working a job that they hate now. But That's the more common story, and things can go horribly wrong out here too. Relationships get torn apart by people pursuing whatever it is they're pursuing out here. And it's not all glitz and glam. It happened to me when I moved out here. I thought I was going to be going to parties in the Hollywood Hills every night, and it just doesn't happen that way. But I wanted to shed a light on the dark corners of California in a song, and sort of take it the other way that the mamas and papas took it.
Yeah, that's great. It really worked out well. Talk to me about the new single, Gypsy, which we also played tonight, which is a great track. Love this one. Talk to me about the writing of this song.
Yeah, so we had this riff. John had written this riff that's just a killer riff, and we all loved it, and we just didn't know. Every part has to be as good as that one part you're starting from, and we didn't really know where to take it. And it has this really drive and groove to it. And it all sort of came together when our drummer, Corey, he was kind of messing around, just smacking the hell out of the snare drum one day. And I said, what if you do that underneath John's riff? And that was when everything sort of came together. And that's the whole intro of the song. And we were like, okay, we're on to something now. And lyrically, I just wanted to take it. It just always felt like a great driving song to me. And I wanted that energy to be felt in the lyrics, and sort of made it about, a guy in search of something on the road, trying to find his peace in life. And that's, very close to where I come from. I'm always on the motorcycle riding around somewhere. And I wanted something that sort of encapsulated that energy.
That's great. It worked out really, really extremely well there.
I love that one. Thank you.
Yeah. It's a really cool song. I think it's
we wrote that one, and Nick, the producer, was like, I don't know if this is a hit song or whatever, quote unquote, but it's definitely going to open your show for the next 20 years. So
yeah,
get used to it.
Now, what I love is, you guys had some really more killer tours that you were looking forward to, you were going to do after the record. But I'm really happy to say that you're going to be doing some shows with the Black Crowes. They're finally going to be going out for Shake Your Money Maker, really doing the tour. And it just seems like such a perfect bill with you guys, with like two
Fingers
generations, with Chris Robinson, of course, and your swagger, you know what I mean, Marc? It's just like, to me, that's a great night of real rock and roll. Talk to me about this tour.
I can't think of a better night of rock and roll for my personal taste, to be honest. They're killing it right now. I went out and saw them for their reunion show at the Bowery in New York, and I love that band. Often we get a lot of comments. Hey, they kind of sound like the Black Crowes. They sound like Guns N' Roses. They sound like this one or that one. But I make no bones about it. I love that band, and it's an honor to do shows with them. But yeah, if you're looking for a night of rock and roll, that's going to be a good show to go to for sure.
Absolutely. I think it's great. Marc, it's really good. So talk to me about what are the plans over the next few months? I mean, the album's out now. Okay, it came out Friday. So talk to me about like some of the things that are going to happen. How soon are you looking to say are the shows going to start taking place? Are you thinking August or September for you guys?
We're hoping for earlier summer to do maybe some stuff in parts of the country that are open. Maybe they're half capacity shows or something like that. I'd love to do some shows before midsummer, honestly. But everything's got to be safe, obviously. State legislators have to let you play. That's a big hang up. I think there's some optimism right now, but at the same time, I think genuinely we're all going to have to figure out how to deal with this thing for the rest of time. I don't think COVID's going anywhere. So yeah, somebody has to be the the trial here, and if that's us or if that's Chris Stapleton, who knows? Somebody's got to get it going and figure out if it's safe or not, and and then go from there. So we're hoping though early summer. We got our fingers crossed.
Yeah, I do too. I think it'll be amazing. Not to put you on the spot, Marc, but I wanted to ask you, if you had to pick 5 albums but you can go
Okay.
less if you want. What are 5 albums that you would say, I have to take these on the road with me everywhere, or if it was all I could have to listen to? What are 5 really important records in your life? What do you love?
Definitely Toys in the Attic. That's a big one.
One of the greats.
That's probably my number 1 record of all time. Shake Your Moneymaker is up there too. Led Zeppelin 2. I mean, pretty much any Zeppelin record could come with me. I love Some Girls by the Rolling Stones. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Geez, one more for you. I'd go with that first Audio Slave record.
Yeah, a great one, right?
That's way up there.
Yeah, that's fantastic. They're all great choices. You know, Toys in the Attic just celebrated an anniversary, and it was a seminal record in my life as well. You picked great ones. And, you know, do you ever ask yourself, wasn't it amazing, Marc, you think about Led Zeppelin 2, the fact that the record sounds so cohesive, but it was recorded all over the U.S. Like it was going from studio to studio with tapes under his arm, Jimmy Page. It's amazing what he was able to do.
I can't imagine doing that way. I can't imagine it. But, you know, I say all the time, bands like Zeppelin, bands like Van Halen, Aerosmith, AC/DC, the Stones, everybody in those bands is so essential to their sound that it really doesn't matter where you record them, what type of drum kit John Bonham's using. It's their sound is so identifiable with them playing that you, like Jimmy, that example you just said, they can get away with doing that because everybody's sound is so specific. It's just going to sound like that no matter where they're playing. Doesn't matter. So
is that how you feel about you guys too, with John and with everybody in the band? I mean, it was like,
yeah, I do
yeah,
actually.
that's great.
You know, I think everybody's got their own thing happening. It doesn't matter if we record in Australia or at Henson here in LA, or if we do it in Nashville. Everybody's kind of got their own thing, and it helps when you put all 4 of those pieces together. It creates Dirty Honey. It creates, you know, Zeppelin or Aerosmith. You know, it's as identifiable as hearing Robert Plant singing a cappella or Steven Tyler. You know,
yeah.
You know, it creates its own recipe.
You know, it's speaking of which, you know, I reported on the show a couple of weeks ago. I was a little nervous about your drummer because he had taken a fall on his bike, right? So I was like, oh, no, not let this happen now because he's just about to get ready to go out.
I know.
But he rode out of the woods with one arm, right? Like he literally, tell me about that. He's
got a broken arm at the moment, but yeah, he crashed his mountain bike and broke his wrist. But, you know, I wanted to be mad at him for doing it, but at the same time, I can't be because it happened to me. I was playing hockey right before we were going out to do our first shows with Slash, and I've got a broken leg, you know, going out to Phoenix, you know, to run around on stage for the first time at our first real big show. And to this day, everybody in Slash's, you know, camp on his crew, they're like, weren't you the guy that was like rolling around on a scooter because you had a broken leg? And they all remember that. So it's tough to be mad at Corey for doing what he loves and getting hurt because I certainly did it too.
Yeah. Corey's a great drummer too. He kills it. So I'm sure how's he feeling right now? I mean, does he feel like it's going to heal in a pretty good amount of time?
They were saying 4 to 6 weeks, but you never know. He'll be all right.
Yeah.
He'll be fine.
That sounds great.
It wasn't too bad. He doesn't have like, you know, screws in it or anything. It's not too crazy. But
yeah. But Marc, thanks so much for joining us today, man. It was so good to have you. And I look forward to seeing you on the road. I'll definitely be at one of the first shows, man.
When they give us the green light, you bet your ass we'll be out there. So we appreciate it, man. We love you, and glad to see you're doing well. Glad to see you're safe.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it, Marc. We made it through, right? We made it through.
So far, yeah. We're still waiting to get out the other side of that tunnel, but
yeah,
we're here. We're still here.
Yeah, that's the good news. Absolutely. Well, much love to you and the guys. Say hello to them for me, all right?
I will.
You
Good
got
seeing
it.
you.
Great to see you. Marc LaBelle, the new album, Dirty Honey. Check it out. 8 new songs. It's great stuff. I'm Matt Pinfield. This is KLOS, new and approved. Thanks for watching us.